me a joke.
Okay, this is a little. So there was this boy named Billy Martin, and Billy had a really, really foul mouth, and so he'd get sent home from school pretty regularly. And one day, Billy got sent home, and he had a note um, that he needed mother and father needed to go see the principal. And so Billy's parents show up, the principal's office, and they go, Mr. and Mrs. Martin, we really need to talk to you because your son is completely out of control. He's got the worst mouth on the planet, and this last time, you know, he really, really offended this young man who has disabled, and and I really want your son to take into account, but I'm going to have to suspend him, and I'm also going to require him to go to a special school for 3 months when he can come back. And so the father goes, well, what did Billy say? And he says, oh, look at that bow-legged bastard. The motherfucker can't even walk. And the father goes, oh my gosh, that is horrible. And so they send Billy away. And Billy goes to this school where they're teaching him proper English and elocution and everything. And so Billy comes back and to school, and he sees the kid again. And everybody's looking at Billy, and Billy's looking at the kid. And all of a sudden he says, forsooth, what manner of men are these that wear their balls in parentheses?
When was the last time you felt a sense of pride in an accomplishment?
This morning. I have a program at the university where I'm trying to help students from underserved communities become attorneys. And so I've set the bar really high for the students in order for them to be in the program, because I don't want them to have a false sense of security that if they're in this program, ergo I'm going to law school. Mm-hmm. What I'm insisting upon is that you're going to maintain a really, really high GPA, and you're going to do everything that I ask you to do, because then there's a higher likelihood that you will get into law school. Mm-hmm. I've got 6 kids right now that are carrying above a 3.8 GPA, and now they're taking their LSAT scores and they're scoring in the 80th and 90th percentile. We're going to be lucky to keep them. But that is like so cool, because these are also kids, they're all first generation, they're students of color, lower socioeconomic status, who are going to serve in public arena. I mean, God, come on, I want a lot of. Because that'll be a gift that keeps giving. I'll be long gone. I'll be worm food, and yet they will be continuing to give. These are kids whose family members are incarcerated. They're dirt poor rural people. They're children of immigrants, and they're going to be world changers. I can't tell you how much that fills me up. And the only problem that I have with it is I can't have more. Yeah, that gives me. I had a conversation with the admissions director at the law school this morning. We were kind of going off and reviewing. Well, who do you got? What do you got? And then what happens is word of mouth. These are all smart kids. Hey, there's this program. You got to connect with this guy. And so I met this Native American student, and I didn't know there's a law school scholarship for a Native American that'll pay for everything. So that's what I want. And so I told them, and if you can do what I ask you to do, guess what? You don't have to pay for law school. So, because and that's the other thing. I think that my journey in higher ed has really kind of been to decipher the code, and then to share it with others. And that's what I'm doing. And being an administrator makes it really easy. I can create programs and structure them in a way that's going to do that for a larger and larger numbers of students. I used to do it on a one-to-one basis with students as a classroom instructor, but now I can make policy. That's like, so that's a sense of accomplishment. And like I said, and it's a virtuous circle, because it just keeps giving. Because it's going to be an accelerator for those individuals, everybody in their family, their children, and everybody that they come into contact with. Which is, you think about it, it's like when you throw a rock into a pond, it just keeps going. and it's only limited by how big the universe is.
That's great. What's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?
The most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. Four years ago, my father passed away, and my father was a huge jazz aficionado. And my genius wife said that, I believe you need to honor your father for who he was and what he was all about. And if my father loved anything, he loved jazz, and regularly would go to the Monterey Jazz Festival in California. And so my wife encouraged me to reach out to my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me. Let's go to Monterey. We'll honor Dad. We have his ashes. We'll put some ashes at the grounds there, and then we'll put the rest of them in Monterey Bay. That's what would honor Dad. And that was already very emotional. But then Maceo Parker, who used to play saxophone for James Brown, believe it or not, was doing part of a tribute big band to Ray Charles. And I'm going, well, who's going to sing the role of Ray Charles? And it was Maceo Parker. And he started singing Georgia. And the song is like a triple whammy for me, because my father would sing that song endlessly. It's a beautiful song. Maceo Parker singing it. I went to the University of Georgia, got my doctorate there. So it was just this wave of emotions. It was just washed over me. And my brother and I were sitting there hugging each other in the audience. But I think for me, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because it really did strike the moment in a way that I did not imagine. And it left me with a thought about him, and even though we had a very contentious relationship throughout our entire lives, with a lasting memory, And of course in a venue where people are from all over the world. I mean, we're sitting next to this guy, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Germany, I go to jazz festivals all over the planet. We see some folks from Japan. We see folks that come regularly from New York and New Orleans, because of the music. It's the original jazz festival too. Prior to 1957, when it was founded, there was nothing like that, and it spawned. The art form has been obviously become everything all over the world, but it started there, and so I was just so grateful to be a part of that. And so we're going to miss it this year because of COVID, but it's now become a family reunion every year. So even though my parents been divorced for nearly over 40 years, my mom comes, my siblings come, we bring our kids. So just and it's a beautiful thing. It really is beautiful, because and it's the black classical music. It's the true American art form, and strike the moment in a way that I did not imagine. And it left me with a thought about him, and even though we had a very contentious relationship throughout our entire lives, with a lasting memory, And of course in a venue where people are from all over the world. I mean, we're sitting next to this guy, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Germany, I go to jazz festivals all over the planet. We see some folks from Japan. We see folks that come regularly from New York and New Orleans, because of the music. It's the original jazz festival too. Prior to 1957, when it was founded, there was nothing like that, and it spawned. The art form has been obviously become everything all over the world, but it started there, and so I was just so grateful to be a part of that. And so we're going to miss it this year because of COVID, but it's now become a family reunion every year. So even though my parents been divorced for nearly over 40 years, my mom comes, my siblings come, we bring our kids. So just and it's a beautiful thing. It really is beautiful, because it's the black classical music. It's the true American art form,
Mm-hmm.
and to be a part of all of that and the richness of the history of it, you know, I just feel exceedingly grateful to have that gift having been given to me by my father, and then for us to continue to be able to enjoy it today. And we've seen some incredible things there. We saw, you know, Common performed, and half the old jazz buffs walked out because they don't want some rapper up there. But guess what? He wasn't. It was a show that was beyond just the genre of rap and hip hop, because he had these incredible young musicians who were there playing with him, and you know, he played all the songs, but they were all jazzed up, and it was a perfect mix. And that's what you get when you go there. You get to see things that you wouldn't get to see anywhere else in the world. So, you know, although that spawned me to take my wife for her birthday last year to the New Orleans Jazz Festival, which is,
that's gonna be great.
It's just like, rah!
Yeah,
that's too much actually. It's a little overload, you know. You got the Wild Chapatulas walking down the road, and Al Green and Van Morrison, and then all, you know, it's just like, rah! There's too many people here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.